Hello, and welcome back to Life After 50, Aging with Grace, Style, and Grit. Today I'm talking about something many of us quietly experience, that moment when we realize we actually enjoy our own company, sometimes more than we enjoy a crowded room. If you've ever thought, you know what, I'd rather stay in tonight and I'm perfectly happy about it, this episode is for you. Hello again, this is Diann Schindler, your host. We're going to explore why this happens as we get older, why it's completely normal, and why it's actually a sign of maturity, wisdom, and self-awareness. Let's dive in. For many of us, there's a quiet turning point. Maybe it's a Friday night. You could go out, you've been invited, but you notice you don't actually want to go. You make yourself a drink, curl up with a book, a show, or simply your thoughts, and you realize, I'm not lonely, I am happy, I am content. I remember one Saturday recently when I canceled a plan, half expecting to feel guilty or old, and instead I sat on the couch, lit a candle, and thought, this feels like lovely luxury. When we were younger, being alone often felt like failure. Now more and more, it feels like freedom. In our teens, 20s, even 30s, so much of our identity was built through other people's eyes. We asked, often without realizing it, do they like me? Do I fit in? Am I invited? Our social calendar sometimes felt like a measure of our worth. In those days, a full weekend meant I matter. Conversely, during a quiet weekend, we might ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? As a result, we said yes to almost everything, even when we were tired, uninterested, or overwhelmed. Do you remember that feeling? Boy, I certainly do. But by the time we hit 50 and beyond, something changes. Truth is, we have lived, loved, lost, worked, raised families, cared for others. We have seen enough of life to ask different questions. Questions such as, do I like this? Or is this good for me? And does this feel true to who I am now? That's a huge psychological shift from external validation to inner alignment. Being alone stops meaning nobody wants me and starts meaning I know myself and I'm okay being with me. How about you? Have you noticed this shift in your own life where you ask less, do they approve of me? And more, does this actually work for me now? Okay, now let's talk about emotions. Earlier in life, everything often felt bigger and louder. Breakups, friend drama, work stress, family conflict. Wow, an unanswered message could send us spiraling for hours, days, weeks, months. In those years, being alone with our thoughts could be uncomfortable. Often silence turns up the volume on our insecurities and fears. So what did we do? We chased distractions, creating noise, plans, people, screens, trying to avoid that lack of comfort with ourselves. But thankfully, with age, something else happens. We have gone through enough storms to know we can survive them. We've had careers shift or end, and we are still here, alive, on this earth. We have had relationships change, some wax and wane, some actually end, and through it all, we found ways to heal. We have faced loss and discovered a strength we didn't know we had. Over time, we learned to regulate our emotions, maybe through journaling, walking, prayer, meditation, therapy, or simply breathing and letting feelings move through us. Gradually, solitude starts to feel different. Quiet becomes calming instead of threatening. Time alone becomes a place to sort out our thoughts, let feelings rise and fall, reset emotionally before we go back out into the world. It is so important to realize that this is not running away from life. It is how we process life. It's a good thing, a really good thing. As for me, I've noticed that when I take even 20-30 minutes alone after a busy day, no phone, no TV, I come back to my relationships much more patient and grounded. Let me take a moment here to thank you again for tuning in. If you are enjoying this episode, please hit the like button and also subscribe. Your support is essential for the success of Life After 50, aging with grace, style, and grit. It helps us reach more of us who are struggling with age-related issues that can get in the way of our everyday lives. I so appreciate it. Thank you again. Now let's get to loving your own company, the quiet power of Life After 50. One of the great gifts of life after 50 is understanding our limits and honoring them. When we were younger, we often said yes by default. Yes, I'll attend every event. Yes, I'll help with every request. Yes, I'll be available. Truth be told, we equated being needed with being valued. But now, thanks to aging, we are more aware of how precious our energy is. Furthermore, we notice certain people or environments leave us drained. Too much socializing leaves us overstimulated. Constant availability leads to burnout. Because we are even more in touch with ourselves, because we have lived long enough to enjoy much more self-awareness, we begin to practice a new kind of courage, the courage to say no. Well, I say hallelujah to that. Again, we have a new kind of courage, the courage to say, no, I can't make it this time. No, I'm not up for a long visit today. No, I'm not taking on another responsibility right now. And suddenly, time alone is no longer a sign that no one asked me. It's the result of a clear choice. I chose to protect my peace. How about you? Have you started saying no more often and noticing that you feel less resentful and more at ease when you're alone? I think this is so cool because solitude becomes part of our boundary system. It's how we refill our own cup, fill it up with our energy and our enthusiasm. Another big change with age is how we view connections. When we were younger, we often chased quantity. More friends, more events, more invitations, more everything. But thankfully, over time, we learned that the most meaningful moments are usually a vulnerable, honest talk with one close friend, a walk with someone we truly trust, a quiet dinner where everyone is present, not distracted, or even a few hours alone where we reflect, create, or simply breathe. As we move past 50, many of us naturally shift from breadth to depth. Yes, fewer friendships, but deeper. Fewer plans, but more intentional. Less noise, but more meaning. And enjoying our own company becomes part of that. We don't need constant stimulation to feel alive. Our inner world, our thoughts, memories, creativity, spirituality, is rich enough that solitude feels full, not empty. Some of my favorite evenings now are the simple ones. Me, a journal, maybe some music, snuggling with Zelly, my adorable kitten, just letting my mind wander. 10 years ago, I would have called that doing nothing. Now I call it recharging. So now, let's bring these concepts to life with a few quick then and now snapshots. One example, the weekend then. A Friday night with no plans felt like a problem. You scrambled to find something to do so you wouldn't feel left out. Now, a free evening feels like a gift. If you go out, it's intentional. If you stay in, it feels just as good, sometimes better. A second example, the phone. Then, you checked every message immediately. You worried about being left out or missing something. Now, you're okay putting the phone down for an hour or an afternoon. You answer when you can. Being unreachable for a bit feels peaceful, not dangerous. A last example, relationships. Then, being single, or even just being alone, could feel like something was wrong. You might have stayed in situations that weren't right, just to avoid being by yourself. Now, you know yourself better. You'd rather be on your own than in an unhealthy relationship. Time alone is no longer a punishment. Rather, it is protection and clarity. So think about it. Take a moment right now. Tell me, which of these shifts sounds most familiar to you? The weekend, the phone, relationships, or something else entirely? So what does all this mean? If you find after 50 you're enjoying your own company more, craving quieter evenings, protecting your energy, choosing depth over noise, you're not checking out of life. Rather, you are becoming more mature, growing wiser about what drains you and what nourishes you, becoming more self-aware and honest about your needs. Enjoying your own company is not a sign that you've given up. It's a sign that you've grown up. And here's the beautiful part. When we're comfortable being with ourselves, our relationships with others usually get better. We're less clingy, less people-pleasing, less afraid of being abandoned. We can show up with more authenticity, more generosity, and more truth because we're not asking anyone else to fix the emptiness inside us. We're already whole. This is so cool, don't you think? So, the next time you find yourself savoring a quiet night alone, instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" try saying, "This is what growth looks like. This is what wisdom feels like. I am good company for myself." Thank you for spending this time with me on Life After 50, Aging with Grace, Style, and Grit. I would love to hear from you. What's one way you've noticed yourself enjoying your own company more these days? Share it in the comments section below. I am confident your story will resonate with someone who really needs to hear it. Until next time, this is Diann Schindler signing off. Take good care of yourself and remember you carry grace, style, and grit into every room you enter, including the one where you sit by yourself.